Hello, Becky.
Hey, how are you?
You're like the LinkedIn legend, like LinkedIn queen of selfies, and I've wanted to get you on for ages because
Well, here I am.
yeah. It's like I've never known anyone on LinkedIn to get so much engagement on posts. But it is founded in something because obviously the message has resonated with me because I've wanted to get you on for a while. Because I started the business when it was COVID. I was stuck in the house, couldn't do much. Started the whole business, and for me, it wasn't really oh shit, I've got to stop working. It was more like I need to pivot and do something else, which it did.
Yeah.
And obviously you're quite well known on LinkedIn, but for anyone in my audience that might not know who you are, there's a lot of people in my audience I know that will resonate with your message. So give my audience an idea of who you are, what you do, what you're involved with, who you help, and why you do it.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Becky. I now work with a business called Reef. So basically what we do is we get people who work from home that want to get out into different spaces, but at such a low cost. We're just trying to help people tackle burnout, isolation, while they're working from home. A lot of people, I think, want to get out of the house. But people, there's a cost of living crisis. People don't want to be forking out lots of money to do so. So I think people just default to staying at home because it's the cheaper option. But yeah, obviously in the long run, it's not great for people's mental health, being stuck in the same four walls all the time. So it's all about connecting people with spaces that are perfect for remote working. So we do a membership where you can basically go and book into hundreds of hospitality spaces. You get things like free coffee while you do it. You get discounted food, like lunch deals. So it works out about £5 a month for a membership, and people end up saving about £80 just by going out and working a month. Helps hospitality too. They've obviously suffered with the pandemic and, footfall and things like that, and people not necessarily being in offices anymore. People are now working from home, so they don't get those like after work drinks that, they used to get before, or people coming in and socializing because people are not in the cities as much anymore. So being able to support them and getting that footfall through their door too, it's kind of a winner all round. Hospitality spaces we don't charge them to list with us. We just basically do them free marketing in exchange for some kind of a deal for our membership. So it's kind of like an all round winner for both parties, really. So there's a lot to it, but it's quite a simple concept.
Yeah, it is a simple concept, but that's why I like it, because I was in that position in COVID where I probably spent probably 8 months, I would say, literally sitting at a desk. And this is from someone who's been super active in like sort of doing fitness on the gym floor, working with people one-to-one for like over 10 years. And all of a sudden I'm like in the house at a desk. And like being honest, being totally transparent, I was actually thinking about pivoting for a while. COVID was like the straw that broke the camel's back and made me go, okay, I'll do that now. And after 8 months, I was like, yeah, everything's going all right. I'm making enough money. I'm doing all right now. I'm editing some videos and doing some social media content for people and all that. And it's nice. I'll just keep doing this, and then I'll just keep sitting in the house. And then as time went on, I was like, I need to get out of this house now. And a lot of my sort of PT mates and fitness mates who had pivoted online in that time, I noticed were using coffee shops and using spaces that had Wi-Fi basically to help the clients because they just didn't want to be in the house. Maybe they had young babies.
Yeah.
Maybe they had a wife that was working in the house as well, or a partner that was working in the house as well. And it was tough to work. And I found that a little bit when, I've got a little one. He was like really young at the time. And it's hard when, they're nipping at your heels and you're trying to like have a Zoom call with someone, or that's a tough thing. So I think the concept of it is like amazing, really, because it helps. It really does help. Like I know you said it's like a simple concept, but it really does help. So how long have you been in that business for?
I joined last January, so the end of January last year. I was in the same situation, so I was working from home. And I think I just put something on LinkedIn about how I hated working from home because, like you, I'd always kind of been around people. I've always been like a sales manager or worked within something along those lines. So for me, I was every day going in, speaking to people, being around people, having conversations. So to go from, like you said, that one extreme kind of to the other. I was like, I think I was at home for about 2 weeks, and I'd put on LinkedIn that I was absolutely like going crazy, being sat in the same four walls. And then James, who's the CEO, I've known him for a while, but he messaged me and said, look, I'm setting up this company that basically tackles what you're talking about. So we could just kind of had a bit of a conversation, and I just understood it straight away. And I was like, I have to get on board with this, because there's going to be so many more people that are in the same situation as me that need this. So it was just a no-brainer for me to get involved, really.
I love that. And I love the thing that you said about the sort of the financial implication of it, because I tried it, and I can speak from experience on this, in a sense that I remember thinking, I'm just going to go down to Starbucks, or I'm just going to go down to Costa or something, or it was actually the village. I live like down the road from the village hotel, so I was going into the village hotel and sitting in the restaurants and stuff on my laptop. Before you know it, you have spent like 40 quid, like coffees and lunch and all that stuff. Maybe you have a client meeting or something, and all of a sudden, before you know it, you spend 50 quid, 60 quid max. So having that available is like an invaluable thing. And I'm not one who like does it massive. I don't go out massively, but people do it every single day. So imagine spending, even 20 quid a day, like 20, 30 quid a day. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do it out of, we kind of talk about this thing like coffee guilt, which is where like people will go in, buy a coffee, they'll try and nurse that coffee for as long as they can because they feel guilty because they're sat there, and then they'll go and buy another one and buy another one and buy another one because they feel like they have to. And I get it, because you do want to support hospitality and you are, using their space. So the spaces that we work with and the venues that we list are happy for you to go and sit there. So there's none of this guilty spending. They want you to go because they're giving you freebies at the end of the day. And yes, you probably will maybe then end up buying a lunch, but again, it'll be discounted. So it's kind of like you are still supporting them, but you're not having to feel guilty for doing so and then overspending. And like you say, we've had people say that they spend 50, 60 quid a day just going out and working remotely. So, and that's a yearly membership of Reef in one day. That's crazy. So
I know, it's mad. It's absolutely mad. You're like hitting all the pain points here for me, because I used to go into, it's such a weird thing. Like I used to go into these places and I'd be overly caffeinated anyway. So I'd buy a water and I'd buy a water, not a coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
you do.
Like,
I bet going to the gym.
Yeah. One thing I really wanted to touch on was like the sort of growth of the business. Like I seen on one of your posts, was it last week or the week before, that like when you started it was like a small user base and it's grown by like 300% or something. Was it? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, it's just I think people just, as soon as people have understood the concept, a lot of what we were doing in the beginning was a lot of education. So, getting especially companies to understand that this is a thing that they can give to their employees too, and they can cost save and all this kind of stuff. So because it was a concept that hadn't been done before, it was a case of a lot of education. But then I feel like this year in particular, especially when it was like winter and people's, energy bills were going up and people just started to really understand the concept behind it. So since then we get requests all the time for, can you have spaces in X, Y, and Z countries? And we get people approaching us saying, I'd really like to run Reef in whatever country. So yeah, we've just expanded we're now in Canada, South Africa, the Philippines. We're due to go into a lot of European countries in the next couple of months. New Zealand's on the card. So yeah, it's just a case of wherever there's hospitality venues, we believe Reef can be. So yeah, it's been crazy growth, to be honest.
So it's like the Airbnb of the hospitality sector.
That is exactly what we say.
Yeah. That's amazing. So does that mean like lots of free trips for you?
I'd like to think so. Got to go and try them out, right?
Yeah, of course.
Got to go vet them all and make sure that they're all remote friendly.
Yeah, there just seems something.
I'd like to think so.
There's something that seems exotic about a coffee in South Africa or New Zealand. Just seems different. Yeah,
to be fair, the guys that are over in South Africa, we're in a WhatsApp group and they're constantly sending over some of the spaces that they're looking at bringing on board, and they just look incredible. Like the weather's so nice and they're just sat out, on the beach, and I'm just like, true remote working right there. I've got to go and do a bit of that.
100%. It beats Cheshire, right? Definitely beats Cheshire.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And I'm I mean, I work with online coaches now and consultants, and the amount that are working in them spaces now and the amount of meetings I've took in them spaces has been amazing. And I'm definitely going to utilize more of them because it's definitely worth. And for a £5 a month as well, it's not like it's costing you a fortune. If anything, yeah, like you said, it's saving you money. So it's an absolute no-brainer, really, isn't it?
That's it. We wanted to price point it so if you did 1 or 2 trips a month, it would already pay for itself. And then you've still got loads of spaces to work from for the rest of the month. You've still got all the freebies to go and collect. So it was kind of more of it's within the well-being, side of things. It's not just about, the mental and social side of it. It's about the financial well-being as well. And it's about, making sure that people can cost save. So it was, we had a guy the other day that turned around and said that he'd made his membership fee back and then some in one visit. And now he was like, so I get to go and save money for the rest of the month now. And it was like, yeah. And he was like, and I've got workspace for the rest of the month. And we were like, yeah, that's how it works. So I think once people sometimes think it's too good to be true, but then once people cotton on and go, actually, it is what they say it is. It's just been amazing, some of the feedback that we've had from people, especially like with pubs. You associate pubs with drinking, right? So people go, oh, I wouldn't want to send my employees to a pub to work because how do I know that they're not just going to get on the bevs and, have a good day out? But loads of people have come back to us and said, actually, it was completely dead in the daytime. There was loads of space that we could use. It was perfect for what we needed. We had a client meeting in there. They brought us, a couple of free hot drinks over. People are saving money on their expenses that way too. So yeah, people are like, I've never thought of working from a pub before, but now that I've done it, I probably would do it again and again and again. So yeah, it's just changing the way that people think about it too, which has been a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, people are warming to the idea. So
definitely, and that's one thing that really excites me in my business as well is goal setting. And when I hear stuff like what you just described, it's exciting, right? Because the potential growth on that is like huge growth. I mean, there's endless people that could like coffee and like these spaces and need workspaces. And as more of the world becomes, dare I say, automated and more artificial intelligence and the creepy world of that comes more into the mainstream, it's going to become more important, right? Because people will work remotely. I mean, I look at office spaces and stuff and think, will we need it that much in a few years' time? Or will people be more remote? And it's a big thing for me. But goal setting's a big thing. So with the company, it's like, I don't know whether you'll be able to answer this, but is there sort of goals that you want to hit over the next sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, even 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's just, as I say, getting into as many sort of countries as we can. Every single day on LinkedIn, people are coming to me going, when are you launching in America? When are you launching in, it doesn't matter where it is. We've probably had a request for it. So I think it's just getting, now that we've done the educational piece and people are getting it and understand it, now it's just all about making sure that we can expand and we can be, even in the UK, there's still gaps missing where we still need venues. So I think it's just, that's our focus over the next sort of 6-12 months is just making sure that we can provide as many venues as we can. Get people using it, get people on board, get people back into hospitality. That's sort of the main goal, really.
I love that. Becky Jones pioneering the hospitality industry.
Trying one venue at a time.
One venue at a time, absolutely, yeah. One thing that I'm kind of super interested in, obviously, predominantly, I'm a social media guy, so this is like a social media podcast. But one place I've noticed you're like big, as we talked about a little bit before we came on, is LinkedIn. So what's LinkedIn done to drive the business forward? Because obviously you've got a massive network on there.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's been paramount for what we've done. Like I say, from the educational side of things, just being able to get in front of the right people, both from the hospitality side of things and from a lot of sort of our focus moving forward now is we've done a lot of B2C. So we've got a lot of like individuals using us, freelancers, people that are self-employed, which is great. But we're now going more in towards like the B2B market as well. So we've got like quite a lot of businesses that want to use us as a perk, for example, for all of their employees that work from home. So I think from both perspectives, being able to get in front of those types of people has just been incredible. And a lot of that's just been done, as I say, through that educational piece, which has been a lot of video stuff, which was interesting. Never really done video before, but I was like, do you know what? Let's just try it, because there's so much that we need to educate people on. Let's just get in front of the camera and just see what happens. But there's been a mad correlation between, maybe it's coincidence. I'd like to think it was my skill, but we'll see. But yeah, there's been a mad coincidence between the days that videos are posted and Reef is explained in that way to us hitting PB days in terms of downloads of the app. So I think being able to get in front of people and go, right, this is how it is, this is how it works, and explaining it, has been really good, especially on LinkedIn. That's where we've had sort of more people than ever go, oh my God, I've never heard of this before and I really want to get involved. How do I get involved? So yeah, I think without LinkedIn, we probably wouldn't be where we are today.
Absolutely. Video, massive. I mean, I preach about this all the time, but I'm a video guy, so I'm a bit biased. But it's I'm not saying it like if it started pushing more photo or written word or graphics, then I'd start pushing that. But it really is video. And I posted something up on Instagram the other day, saying that if people can absorb something visually 60,000 times faster than written text, then for a 1 minute video, it would take like 10 hours of text, which is like a crazy difference, right? So if you can articulate a simple problem solution message, this is your problem, here's a solution, this is what we can offer, then it's going to sink into someone's head in a minute, like literally a minute. And it's no surprise there that your downloads have got like higher correlated to the video, because it's literally sinking into people's heads quicker, which is a mad thing. One thing I always tell my social media mentoring clients and my videography clients, to be fair, is you kind of want to be omnipresent everywhere. But the one place they usually miss out is LinkedIn, because they think it's just like these corporate businesses. And from the outside, like I was kind of in that boat myself, where I was like, yeah, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on all like the YouTube, the main platforms. But LinkedIn, I don't know about LinkedIn. It's just one of them things. And then I joined Move a while ago, and I didn't really expect much, to be fair, because I don't really do much. I don't really do much networking, to be honest with you. And I joined Move, and they were like, yeah, post it on LinkedIn, and then I started posting on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden, I'm getting connection requests, I'm getting DMs, I'm getting like loads of mad things going on, and my network is actually built up from like, I think it was like 400 at the time, which was obviously not very much, to like well over like 4,000 or something now, which is like mad. But I get like random, like it's I always find it funny when, and I don't know whether you've experienced this, but I always find it funny when someone will message you after like maybe 6 months and be like, oh yeah, I've been following your stuff for ages, love your stuff, and then I'm like, well, you haven't liked anything, you haven't, like, I didn't even know you followed me. And all of a sudden you've popped up and been like, I'd love to work with you. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. But like, why has it took that long? Like, and I think that for me, like what I've gleaned from that is you've just got to keep providing that value, because you never really know who's watching in the background. And then all of a sudden someone will pop up, like you might get a message from someone and be like, yeah, I want to use a space, or I want to do this. How do I get involved? And then you've been like, hang on, I posted that like 6 months ago, posted that like 3 months ago. Like, how's that even the thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a stat, isn't there, that only like 1% of LinkedIn users actually actively post. And the rest sort of just lurk and watch, which is crazy to think that, because when I go through like my news feed, I'll see loads. For me, there's loads of content. So I think if that's only 1%, which is why I think when you come back to the video kind of stuff as well, I think that's why it really works, because I think it breaks through that noise. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I think when you're using video content too, I think it just kind of breaks it up and people go, oh, well, what's that about? And people's attention spans are not great, are they? Let's be honest. So if people can watch a short video rather than having to read loads of text, I think that makes a massive difference as well. But yeah, like you said, you'll get people that, go, oh, I've been following your content for X amount of time, love your posts, want to find out a little bit more about what you do. And like you said, you just kind of go, oh, right, okay. Didn't know you'd even, you're even like, crazy. Yeah. I think the reach on there is just ridiculous.
Should me and you coin the hashtag LinkedIn Lurkers?
LinkedIn Lurker. Yeah, let's do it.
I think that's like a hashtag.
Go drag them all out.
Right, yeah, because no one wants to be a LinkedIn lurker, so everyone will start commenting and get loads of engagement. No, it's funny, like my business coach Peter. I meet up with him, and Peter, he's like 70 years old, and it's actually his son now who runs the business, because he's like semi-retired, but the company's doing like 50 million a year, like big recruitment company, like really successful, got like 400 staff, all that kind of stuff. And
Nice.
I'll go in there and I'll have a meeting with him, and he's a really nice guy, like really top guy, and does a lot like of mentoring and helping out with different initiatives and all that kind of stuff. And he'll say to me, the Ste Devaney on LinkedIn is different from the one that I'm speaking to now. And I'm like, Peter, I didn't even know you were on LinkedIn. And he's sitting there on my stuff. And he's like, oh, I love your stuff. And I'm like this 70-year-old guy who's really successful is watching it. And I'm like, I didn't even know that I was that impactful, really. Because sometimes you'll put a piece of content out and I'm thinking, I don't know if it's like that imposter syndrome kicking in. And I'm quite experienced in it now, so I feel like I'm quite good at it. But it's still that thing of, is this any good? Is it are people actually going to listen to this? And I think that's just having the confidence that your service does what it says, really. I don't know what your perspective is on that.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, I think everyone gets like that a bit initially, don't they? They're just like, do people even care? Are people even going to watch this? Are people going to, respond? What if I put something out and no one, writes on it? And all those thoughts do go through your head. But I think with practice and with time and with experience of being on the platform, you kind of learn to know that, like you said, people do watch it, even if they don't respond to it or even if they don't comment on it. That's 99% of people at the end of the day. And yeah, it's just crazy who you reach. Like the amount of times I've gone to a networking event and people have been like, "Oh, Becky," and I've been like, yeah. Just because people are familiar with you and people know who you are and people feel like they know you. But yeah, it just comes with doing it. I think that's the biggest thing. I think it's just not thinking too much. I was on a podcast the other day and we were talking about the fact that we post and then we just don't watch it. Just do it. Just put it out there. Just don't watch it again and just see what happens. So we're having a bit of a laugh about that, about how we don't like watching like our own stuff back. But yeah, it's definitely just doing it. Just do it because it's the best thing you'll do.
Definitely. I mean, without blowing smoke up your arse too much, what one thing I really think you in particular is really good at is humanizing yourself. Like, because there's a lot of these people that we don't actually know. Like, we see them on LinkedIn, we kind of know what they do and what they talk about, but we need to kind of show that personal side a little bit. It's not like, it's not divulging your whole life and all your personal stuff and all that. It's not that, but it's just humanizing yourself. So like you said, like you can turn up at these events and people actually know you are and they're not scared to walk up to you and speak to you because you're unapproachable and you are actually a real person. Like even doing a podcast like this. I mean, I've followed you on LinkedIn for quite a while now and I love your stuff. And I've actually just come on the podcast. But now we're talking, it's almost like you're more real to me because you're here talking to me. And I think that's the power of video, isn't it? It's like it humanizes us as personal brands. So our business brand can flourish because there's a face to it. It's like with a bit, like if you've got a profile and it's just a logo and it's just graphics and there's no person behind it. It's almost like, is this real? Like, is this even imagine it was just Reef. Imagine it was just Reef with a logo and it was just all graphics. No Becky, no CEO, no other people. And it was just, that was it. Reef becomes like a more humanized brand because you're on video. And that's where I think you do really excel at it.
I think it just comes back to that age-old people buy from people at the end of the day, don't they? It's if people know you and people hear your experience, and I talk a lot about why I got involved with Reef and what it means to me. And I think doing that and coming across with that sort of passion about it as well, I think people then, and you'll probably know from what you do as well, is people then go, I get why they do it and I understand their passion for it. And when people can see that you're so passionate about it, and I think video conveys that a lot better than anything else, I think then people are more likely to buy into it themselves anyway, because they go, well, what? People are then inquisitive as to why it means so much to you. I think that attracts a lot of attention towards what you're doing as well. So yeah, no, I agree with you there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, Becky. And it's like that. The fact that you're not just an employee of the company. There's clearly like a passion there and a purpose behind it, and a drive to actually make it into something mega. And it's very attractive, actually, like in terms of business and people wanting to actually work with you. It's an attractive thing, isn't it? It's like a very powerful, magnetic thing. Whereas, as you say, would like gone are the days where you just had a logo and you could get by on your logo. It's not like that anymore. We live in a personalized world now.
No,
and I love it.
That's it. Like,
yeah, go on. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag there.
No, I was just going to say I've worked for like corporates over the years, and they were very, very like that in terms of using LinkedIn. It was very much, and I think that's why I probably avoided it at first, because a lot of people were like, it's got to be very, corporate and on brand, and you've got to be careful about what you're saying. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I go off on talk rubbish or anything like that, but I think bringing that human element into it, it just makes such a difference. I've had so many conversations with people on LinkedIn that have said, like, my employer doesn't like me doing X, Y, and Z on LinkedIn, or, they've got views on LinkedIn. And I think people do need to change how they see it and what it can actually do for business if you are putting yourself out there, and if you empower people within your business, even, employees in your business. That's all James has done for me. He's just sort of said, like, run with it. Just do whatever you need to do and just show people what we're doing. I think when you give people that flexibility and you trust them that they can go and use LinkedIn to do that, I think it's so much more powerful and impactful than, like you say, just putting a logo up and going, this is who we are and this is what we do. People don't care about that. People want to know what you can do for them.
Exactly. Solve the problem. That's it, isn't it? I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said, and I'm glad that I agree, because sometimes I don't really like not agreeing, because I'm always like, oh shit. But yeah, I totally agree with everything you just said, and it's such a good thing, and it's such a good business model that I'm definitely going to utilize it more. So if ever if you bring anything to the Wirral, I'd be able to sort of recommend different places, probably, because I've worked with a few things that bring stuff to the Wirral. In terms of yourself, if someone in my audience really wants to sort of get in contact with you, get involved with Reef, start using one of the spaces, give me a breakdown of how they can sort of get in contact with you. Obviously, we talked a lot about LinkedIn there, but how can you get in contact with you, with Reef, start booking into the spaces?
Yeah, so just drop me a message on LinkedIn. Either that, or you can head to our website, which is www. I don't know why I do that bit. Everyone knows about that bit. Reef.rocks, just that. And yeah, all the information's on there. You can see we've got a map on the website of roughly where the locations are, so people can kind of see what's about in their area. And then once people sign up to the app and download it and create an account and pay for the monthly membership or the yearly membership, then it unlocks all the information and it unlocks all the deals and the discounts and everything too. So you can either do it that way, or, like I say, if you've got some questions or anything first, then feel free to just drop me a message on LinkedIn.
I love that. And from my side, couldn't recommend it highly enough. If you want to get involved in that, message Becky, get into the spaces, because you'll save a ton of money. Lastly, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That was half an hour of pure value. It'll be coming out in the next week or so. I'll put it, it'll be all over LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. So you'll definitely see it. I'll tag you in and everything. Hashtag LinkedIn Lurkers.
LinkedIn Lurkers. Please put that in the comments bit.
100%. Thanks, Becky. I'll see you soon.